data-driven marketing technologies and their role in modern marketing with Travis Wright. Travis Wright is a marketing technologist, consultant, keynote speaker, entrepreneur, data and analytics geek, tech journalist, startup growth hacker, and a stand-up comic. He is the former global digital and social strategist at Semantic for the Norton brand. And in the past 15 years, Travis Wright has helped hundreds of B2B and B2C companies, from well-funded startups and SMBs to the Fortune 10. He is also a columnist at Inc. magazine. Please welcome to the stage your high-tech funny man, Mr. Travis Wright.
That video makes me seem way more cool, I want to say. That was an awesome video. Very nice. First of all, thank you to the organizers who are putting on this great conference. It's great to be here. Then I realized that I'm the morning keynote, and I'm like, I'm not really a morning person. So way more engaging after lunch, but we will rock and roll this for you. All right, so they did a nice little intro about who I am. So actually, my first gig ever, I was a radio disc jockey at age 13 at my hometown. Here's a picture of me doing that. So it's proof. So I was on the mic early on. But I realized, that I did not really like country music that much. Like, that was a lot of country music, a little too much for me, especially at age 13. So also was a military intelligence in the U.S. Army. I spoke Russian. So, здравствуйте, как дела? Что ты делаешь сейчас, как вы зовут? Digital marketing. Yeah, all right. See, so I've done stand-up comedy since '95, but I realized that I'm not nearly as funny as I hoped I was. So I better figure out this internet thing. So here we are. And so as it mentioned, I've done SEO since the mid-'90s. I worked with Semantic. I was the global digital and social strategist for the Norton brand. And I like to write a lot, write all over the place. And also, if you guys know VentureBeat, I'm going to start co-hosting a podcast with them starting in Q2. So if you like VentureBeat and all that good tech stuff, check it out. So there I am, and there's me doing a little comedy, very mediocre comedy. So, all right, so who is Travis Wright not? I am not Penn Jillette, all right? I'll let you know. Don't need any autographs, not nearly as magical. But I was on a phone call one day, this is about a year or so ago, and the rep was like, oh my gosh, you sound like Penn Jillette. And I was like, what? People say I look like him, now I sound like him? And then Penn Jillette was like, lucky bastard. So he thinks that's a good thing, I guess. All right, so, another little slide. My tweet foo is strong. My clout score is high. My jokes, not that funny. So let's keep that in mind. All right. So this is a social event. Here's the hashtag for that. I thought I'd put a nice little GIF behind that of thunder and lightning. Is that nice? That was good. I was actually really impressed with how the slide turned out. I was like, ooh, that is fancy. All right, so data-driven marketing is what we're going to be talking about. So in a lot of these organizations, there's just silos and silos of data. Most of them don't speak to one another very well, right? So you have your CRM data, your social data, your analytics data. They don't all talk together. So in an ideal world, they will talk to one another. And whoa, is that the thunder? I don't know what that was. All right, so search and social, I've always said they are bros, right? And now with marketing and technology, those are bros as well, right? And if you know what you're doing and you build yourself a nice marketing technology stack, it can really serve your business very well. And so I'm going to talk about some of that stuff, marketing technologies. I'm also going to talk about some really interesting content technologies, right? And how they all fit together, because we're in a really interesting age. So hopefully there'll be some really good takeaways for everyone here in the audience. So back in the day, have you guys seen the TV show Mad Men, right? They're all sitting there drinking their scotch and smoking cigarettes and trying to come up with good ideas. I just keep thinking, like, that would be really horrible to work there in the 60s with everybody smoking, That would be awful. I would not like that at all. Can you imagine getting on an airplane back in the day with people smoking? Some of you probably have been on an airplane with people smoking. That would be awful. All right, so what's happened is we have gone from being madmen to becoming math men. And we really need to understand the analytics and the numbers behind things, right? So we have become more data driven. And if you notice this, well, there's lots of channels that you can do marketing on, right? So you can do SEO, you can do mobile, obviously email, they all work together. But if you look in the middle of that hub and spoke model, web analytics is really the thing that holds it all together. And it's very important. It actually helps you figure out where you want to spend more of your money on your marketing mix. Helps you with the customer journey. Helps you create better user experiences for your customers, which is really important, right? There's Brian Solis wrote a book recently called X, The Experience Between Business and Design. And if you want to figure out some really interesting trends moving forward, I'd recommend picking that book up. So you want to enhance your marketing strategy throughout the customer journey. And when you're looking at the customer journey here, you have these main 4 stages of awareness. Then when a customer is considering doing business with you, then they finally convert and do business with you. And then hopefully they become an advocate of your brand, right? And they start telling other people about how great you are. Well, analytics is really the only one of those that go through all 4 of those channels because they help you make better decisions. Now, if we're looking at the history of marketing channels, this slide right here is always interesting to me. And the oldest marketing ever was back 1839 was the first marketing officially. And it became illegal to put posters on people's poles and their private property. So don't be spamming us with your posters. It's illegal. Marketing people, always putting posters everywhere. But so then, all these technologies have grown, right? We have radio came out, and then they started doing radio ads, and then people started fitting content in there, and then television came out, right? And then we look there at the end, and that's the future. Well, that's the future according to 2007. Here's the future according to 2014, right? You guys seen this before? Crazy. So this is about 1,000 marketing technologies on this slide alone. And this was 2014. It doubled in 2015, and they've not released the 2016 one yet. Scott Brinker at chiefmartech.com. Great resource for marketing technology stuff. But yeah, so many marketing technologies. So what's happened is we're no longer madmen or mathmen. We're also MarTech men and MarTech women, right? We have to be paying attention to how these technologies work. It's very important, and there's a lot of amazing technologies out there. So let's just say you're doing digital marketing. Let's say you're doing SEO, content, social media. These are just some of the tools that you might use and demo, okay? Just some of them. And so I took all of them out and smooshed them all together there. But look at that. So I actually put together a slide for you. It's at CCP Global, which is where I work, /engage. And this presentation will be there for download. There's also a resource guide of about 10 pages. And then also all of these technologies are available for you to download. So I want to talk about a marketing cloud, right? So a marketing cloud is this term that people use about how to build your marketing stack and all the different technologies that you're using and how they work together. And so, as I mentioned, they doubled from 2014 to 2015, so there's a lot of technologies out there. Now, one really cool tool that I like that's free, it's called Ghostery. And what Ghostery does, it tracks all of these marketing technologies, and it will tell you which tools are being used on any website online. So basically, say for example, you go to Home Depot, and it's that little purple widget over on the right. And what it does, it tells you all the technologies that are embedded on that website. And so it's interesting, especially if you're looking at some competitive stuff, and you're like, maybe you're Lowe's, and you're like, whoa, well, I wonder what Home Depot's doing. And then you can look at it and you go, oh, Adify. What's Adify? I don't know what Adify is. We should probably demo it, right? Why are they using that? What are some of these other tools? Crazy A, what's that? I have no clue. Let's take a look at it, right? So it's a really great way to check out websites that are doing things well, and then demo some of those technologies to see how they might fit within your stack, okay? Now, here's the enterprise level of Ghostery, but this actually looks at how those technologies are fitting together. Now, Home Depot, they're using a tag management platform called Insighten, and I will actually talk about tag management in a little bit. And there's multiple different tag management solutions out there. Google Tag Manager has one. There's Telium, Signal, Qubit. There's all kinds of different ones. But Home Depot uses Insighten, and they deploy all their technologies through that one interface, okay? That's a best practice that you want to do if you're building a world-class website. Even if you're a small business, I would recommend using Google Tag Manager, which is one line of code. You put it in the head of your document or the head of your website, and then you log into your tag manager, and then you put any new technology tags through it. It deploys on every one of your web pages, okay? You don't need IT to help you with that. So they're actually structuring their website very well. They're deploying most of their technologies through a tag management solution, so that's a really good practice. So now we are in an omni-channel world now, right? And so what is omni-channel? Well, this is one of those fancy buzzwords. And so a single channel is when a customer is experiencing, just one element of your business. And if we have multi-channel, it's your customers are experiencing different elements of your business. But then as you move down, you get to cross-channel. It's customers are starting to experience it all as one brand, right? So maybe you reach out on Twitter, they connect with you on different areas. You go to the store, it knows who you are. But omni-channel is where it all just flows and works together. Everything it's the nirvana of marketing, where the customers don't really experience a channel, they're just experiencing your brand, right? And so omni-channel is where we want to go. So it's really the holy grail of marketing. It's really beyond that integrated marketing, and it's cross-device, right? So many people are using their mobile phones. Maybe they have their MacBook or their laptop. Maybe they're getting on a tablet, right? How do you stitch that together? How are you able to connect people whenever it is, cross-device like that? It allows you to do more personalization. Personalization is really important. Makes you feel warm and fuzzy, right? When they know who you are and they know a little bit about you and they customize a deal for you specifically. And now that's where we're getting is there's a lot of really cool stuff you can do with personalization these days. So you really want to own all of your data as well. Now, a lot of times, if you're not using an effective tag management solution, you're maybe not collecting all of your data, and you're maybe just leasing that data from some of those other companies, right? So if you're using some of these technologies and they're not providing you with that data, if they own it, that's not awesome. You want to make sure you own your data if possible. And so you want to move beyond optimization to what I call awesomization. So I made that word up, and it amuses me, so I keep using it. All right, so retailers are losing about $100 billion a year by not executing marketing strategies effectively. $100 billion a year, that is a lot of money. So we want to be able to help people not waste that money, right? You maybe heard that quote by John Wanamaker. It said, hey, half of my advertising is wasted. I don't know what half, right? Well, with analytics and with data, you're able to figure out which ones are working better, and you want to put more money in what's working. So, and again, people are using these screens sequentially. Like, how many times am I on my phone while I'm doing something on my computer? While, it's like, and people have all kinds of different devices, right? People are checking their smartphones every 6.5 minutes, about 150 times a day. So I've been up here for a few minutes. I haven't checked my phone yet. I'm already going through withdrawal. Somebody has tweeted me. I need to respond. So if people are using different devices, like at the grocery store, right? Or maybe Google Glass or the quantified self with their Fitbits. Is there any Google Glass holes here? Any glass hole? No? I have not seen a glass hole in about a year. This is crazy. I think they're embarrassed. They don't like to share their Google Glass anymore. Apple Watch. Anybody here got an Apple Watch? Anybody here still put it on? Yeah. So what's interesting about with marketing a lot of times is you want to figure out, well, where is your money actually working? And a lot of times people will say, oh, well, they searched on Google and they bought. Obviously, we need to put more money in Google, right? Well, you go, well, maybe they saw a banner on Yahoo first, or maybe they read an article, or maybe they downloaded a white paper, or, So there's this path to conversion. It's not just that last click attribution. It's the journey of the customer. So you want to be able to understand that, right? So that's where, pixels and tracking and some of these things are very beneficial because it allows you to know where to put more of your money, right? And again, here's all these marketing technologies, and I smooshed them all together and made a heart. Isn't that sweet? And then I smooshed them all together again and made a cloud. And I did that in Illustrator, by the way, Adobe Illustrator. I had fun that day. It took me a long time to figure out how to do it, but I had fun. All right, so what are these marketing clouds? So a lot of times they're typically non-integrated solutions, and these really big companies over here, they have spent a lot of money buying these technologies up, right? And so a lot of these really great, tools are outside of those big clouds. And so, in an ideal world, you build your own cloud or you build your own marketing stack, right? And here's some of the things I'm going to share with you. So Adobe, this is their marketing cloud. And they call it a fully integrated solution. You buy it, you put it on everything, it works magically, right? That's what they say. Well, here's how did they get there. Here's how they got there. They spent all this money buying these companies and then trying to integrate them, okay? So a lot of times all these were built with different languages, different teams, they may be different locations, and so they're trying to fit them all together, Lego them all together. They've spent about $3 billion buying their cloud, okay? Here's Oracle, Blue Kai, Eloqua, Responses. They bought all of them. They spent about $3 billion on their cloud as well. And they're trying to piece all that stuff together. Salesforce, same thing. And they also purchased Pardot, so I need to include Pardot in there as well. IBM, same thing. They spent all this money buying all these technologies. And so what I call them Frankenstein clouds, right? Or Frankenstacks or something along those lines, because they're like, it's alive. I put all this together and here it is. But I do want to point out, this has 4 animated GIFs on it in one. This is an amazing slide, everyone. 4. So, how much money have people spent on these clouds? Over $11 billion. Actually, it's closer to $13 billion now. That's a lot of money they have spent trying to put those things together. And a lot of times, those clouds that they have don't work well with all those other 2,000 technologies out there, right? And a lot of those 2,000 technologies have some really cool stuff that I want to use, right? So that's where tag management will come in, okay? Here it is again. So tag management really allows you to put all these technologies and whoop, you can have one interface where you're able to deploy all of those technologies. And you don't need an IT professional to help you do that. Basically, when you go to a new technology, you can grab the code, paste it in the thing, and then boom, and then it'll deploy it on all your websites. Now say you want to try out 2 or 3 different competing technologies. You can do that as well, and you can figure out which one works best, okay? So tag management's really good. So that's what you'd want to do in an ideal world for me. I like to build my own stack. So say, for example, I want to use some stuff from Adobe. I want to use the Omniture platform and the Informatica tools, or maybe I want to use Oracle's Blue Kai, or Eloqua, or Silverpop, or Radian 6, or some of those other technologies over there in the stack, right? You can do that with your own tag management platform. So again, Google Tag Manager, really good. It's free, right? If you're a big enterprise level business though, I would recommend moving up a step and going for a Telium or a Signal or an Insighten level tool, because you want to create a buffer in between your data and that stack provider, right? So a lot of times if you're using Adobe, they throw in a tag management tool for free, but in other tools that they have, like Test and Target, they would always charge you extra for server calls and whatnot, so you get these big bills. So eventually, they could maybe license your data back to you. So I always like to create a buffer between you and your cloud. So that's just something that I like to do. So here's an example of another cloud using Google Tag Manager. So this is Starbucks, and at this time they were using Google Tag Manager. They were deploying a lot of stuff through that. I like looking at these. These are pretty cool to see these stacks. Here is actually TMZ. Do you guys know what TMZ is? Unfortunately, you guys do. It's a paparazzi website, celebrity thing. I don't actually use it, but when I looked at their web stack, it is like, that is completely horrible. That is the worst thing I have ever seen, ever. Look, they have a tag manager. It's up there in the upper left, Google Tag Manager, but nothing is deployed to it. And they're just like, let's throw this on here. What does this do? I don't know. So whoever runs TMZ's marketing technologies probably needs to find a new job, because that is crazy. It is crazy. It gives me a headache just looking at it. I'm going to flip the channel. All right. So what is a data layer? Now, when you think about this, now you can see how that website there is sort of tilted, and you can see all the different areas on the site, right? Well, imagine putting a data layer on top of your website, and this allows you to collect all that data, and data is really the lifeblood of your digital marketing. So you want to synchronize all your data in an ideal world, because then you standardize it, and then any ad network or any partner that you work with, you're working from the same set of data instead of each one using their own sets of data and they're not talking to one another. Because if you have a visitor or a customer using this and visiting over here, but you don't have it connected to this one over here, then you're missing opportunities to convert, right? So it gives you much better visitor attribution and better personalized insights. So I want you to think about your website as layers, dimensions, and different decisions that can be made. So let's look at that again. I'm going to tilt it. And so on your website, you can actually change content based on the context of your visitor, right? There's some really cool tools that will allow you to do that. I'll talk about them a little later. But that's where it's headed, right? So if somebody's coming to your website from Toronto versus British Columbia or Miami or Czechoslovakia, you might want to show them different deals or show them different content based on what you know about them, right? And you can do that with different technologies. Here's AT&T, and they actually aren't using any layers really for the most part. Everybody was getting the same web experience, okay? Now here's Staples. Staples actually has it set up so different people are getting different deals and different content based on where they're coming from. So if a 16-year-old from California comes to the site versus an 80-year-old in Florida, they're going to show different deals. They're going to show, free shipping, or they're going to switch out different things, right? And here's ESPN. Think about ESPN, they're always dynamically changing content, right? Here's the wireframe view of ESPN, and you can see they're switching out all the different areas of the site that you can just switch out and change. And Facebook's the biggest one ever, right? Imagine 1.59 billion people use Facebook. Everybody has a different Facebook page. Everybody has different friends, different comments, different likes. Probably one of the more complex websites ever if you think about it, because everybody has a different version. Crazy. So that might be confusing for some of you guys, is it? I know, isn't it the cutest dogs ever? I like the third one, the kind of brownish one's like, what is going on? What is this tag management stuff? This is so confusing. Where's the bone? I love it, the cutest dog ever. All right, so I want to talk real quickly about CRM and marketing automation because they work really well together, right? So CRM is your customer relationship management platform. Maybe something like a Salesforce or something where you're keeping all your customers in. And then marketing automation. So a CRM is very important because you can do a lot of stuff. It can be your dashboard. It can be you can manage projects on it. You can, work on some of your product marketing and build out some of your products. Opportunities, contacts, campaigns, right? So the CRM in a lot of ways is the lifeblood between you and your customers and how you're going to communicate with them. And then your marketing automation is actually how you reach out to them and connect with them, right? And so in an ideal world, you want to take people that you've connected with on these different platforms and drive them through the top of your funnel, right? We've heard this, people talk about this. But you want to turn them into a qualified marketing lead, an MQL, and drive them down to sales qualified, right? Until finally they convert. So I'm not going to dive deep into CRM and marketing automation. There's a lot of stuff out there. But if I was going to say I'm going to build my marketing stack, what are the first three things that I'm going to do? Well, one, I need to make sure I have a good CRM, right, so I can keep track of all my customers. Two, I want to be able to market to them effectively. And three, I want to make sure my website is ready with tag management so I can deploy any other technology. So those are the three main foundational points. Then if I was going to move beyond that, I would talk about a data management platform and some of these other technologies, different categories. But that's where I would start. Why? Because it makes you more agile, like this guy. He's a very agile big man. Excuse me. Is that amazing? That's what I do every morning. I just get up and do backflips like that because it just gets me going. Here's an example of not being agile. Oh, I love it. The guy immediately, he checks his lunch. You notice that? He's like, is my lunch good? And it is. But what I want to know is, I want to know if there's another video of this, like from the top, because it just looks like he surfs up all the way up the escalator. This fascinates me. I'm like, did he ever get up? Did he just like scooch off of it? Did he get pinched at the top? I have questions. I'm very curious. And here is ridiculous agility. and he dies right here. Oh, no, he didn't. Okay, good. Whew. I was so nervous. That is amazing. You got to watch it again because it's like, wow. I would be dizzy after that. I would need to take a break. All right, so a summary of this part of the presentation, because we have more. I'm going to go into some content stuff after this. But as far as your marketing technologies, you want to be able to combine any solution into your cloud, okay? And you don't want to restrict it by being closed in. You want to be able to be agile and be able to try new technologies all over the place. Good stuff. You want to be able to own your data, right? Very important to be able to own it. It enables, quality, consistency across all your vendors, and you future-proof your marketing that way, okay? And you want to be able to focus on the customer journey and be able to establish this mythical 360-degree view of your customer and build relationships on a one-to-one level. That is not mythical, right? You can actually create one-to-one relationships with people now. It's amazing. And then you want to be able to take action in real time, and so important. So this stuff's really good stuff. So now I'm going to talk about some marketing technologies, just different ones, kind of boom, boom, boom. Then I'm going to go into some content technology stuff. So Maximizer. Maximizer is a platform that recently got purchased by Oracle, and this is similar to Adobe's Test and Target. This is one of those tools that will allow you to change content based on the context of your visitor. You put these things called M-boxes, which is a marketing box, M-box, on your site, and you can switch those out based on what you know about the visitor that's coming to your site, right? So Maximizer is one of those. Monetate is also a company that does that. So between Test and Target, Maximizer, or Monetate, you should be able to figure out a platform to help you change content based on the visitor. It allows you to A/B test, figure out what works best, okay? That was a nice little rhyme. It's good. Demand base, if you're doing B2B, this is a really good thing to check out. It's a B2B marketing cloud, so they have all kinds of different technologies in it to help you with your marketing. LiveRamp. Now, LiveRamp is a tool that allows you to really put all your data together, create these unique data sets, and then send them off to all those other advertising platforms. So there's hundreds of different ad networks and mobile ad networks and all this other stuff. This helps you standardize your data and then send off that standardized copy to all those different places. So LiveRamp's a pretty cool tool. Observe Point. So say you want to switch over and you say, you know what, we've never used tag management before and we really want to. Observe Point will help you out. It will figure out all those tags that you have on all your existing web pages right now, because chances are, if you're not using tag management, somebody has manually been putting tags on all your pages, which takes forever. This will actually help you audit that to figure out and take those off and figure out which tags you want to put through a tag management tool, all right? Which is really cool. Woo! I love this GIF. This is nice. Takes off his glasses. And it's even cool in reverse when he puts his glasses back on. Oh, yeah. Very nice, very nice. All right, content marketing technology. This is going to be some relevant stuff for a lot of you here in the audience. So some of that stuff was maybe, future thinking. Those are some things you might want to be thinking about from the first part of the presentation. This part's going to be some stuff that you're probably going to want to start thinking about doing now. Some of that other stuff that I just talked about, you might not be ready for yet. So content marketing is very important. Why? Well, there's almost 200 million people who are blocking advertisements right now. Right? I do it. I'm in the advertising business. I don't want to see all those pop-ups. The only time that I turn it off is when it says, all right, hey, you're using ad block. You need to turn this off to see this. I'm like, all right, I'll do that. But, I mean, seriously, because some of the ads are so unrelevant and ridiculous. But a lot of websites, I turn them off on. I want to see the Facebook ads. I want to see ads in different places. But on some websites, it's just too many. If they have multiple, like 5 or 6 different sets of ads, and I don't ever want to see those ads. It's ridiculous. So, what would you rather do than be interrupted by an ad? Lots of things, lots of things. All right, so content planning and research. Here are some really interesting tools for you to help you with your planning and thinking of tools. Divi HQ is a great content planning tool. Basically it's your content calendar, and you can assign different members of your team there. It's pretty handy stuff. Scribble Live, that's a great tool as well. They're actually based out of Toronto. So Scribble Live, not only do they do content planning, but execution, content curation. They do all kinds of stuff with content. So Scribble Live, I would give them love. And if you're using WordPress, maybe use that editorial plugin. Here's the editorial calendar plugin for WordPress. So if you're using that, this allows you to have multiple authors and assign different, pieces of content at different times. So it's very helpful. Also, very important is keyword research, right, for content. So a lot of people don't do enough research around keywords, and they think they know the words, right? But a lot of times your customers are looking for solutions to problems, and they're using other words you might not know, okay? And so there are some really good tools here. There's a Google Keyword Planner, Uber Suggest, Google Trends, tons of different tools, and they all will showcase different information. And I would definitely recommend your content team and your SEO team diving into this deeply, because you can find some words that maybe you didn't even realize people were looking for you. Because when you're thinking about content marketing, you're looking to help your customers solve their problems. You're not trying to talk about how great your stuff is, because they don't care how great your stuff is. What problems are you solving, right? And these keywords really work. So Uber Suggest is really cool because you can type in a keyword, and then it will tell you every other keyword after that that people search for on Google, right? So that's pretty fancy. I love Uber Suggest. Content creation, lots of different types of content creation out there. So many different things you can do, right? And so it really depends on what your business is. Are you a B2B? Are you a B2C? Are you an e-commerce business, right? And this slide right here I find is pretty valuable. So it's the periodic table of content marketing. This was put out by eConsultancy. And so if you Google eConsultancy periodic table of content marketing, this is great because it tells you different strategies and formats and content types and platforms and metrics and whatnot. So if you're doing any type of content marketing, printing this out and putting it on your wall is very helpful. This is a really good takeaway. If you're in B2B, here are the types of marketing that people who are in B2B are doing, right? So they're doing social media other than blogs. They're putting articles on their websites. They're doing newsletters and blogs. They're doing articles on other people's websites and videos. I cannot mention how important videos are today, right? 15, 30-second videos are so important. If you do not have somebody within your organization or somebody that you're contracting to build cool little videos for you, like whoever built the video intros for this, hire that person. Those are awesome, right? Right there. I need to have a copy of that video. That is nice. No, seriously, because especially if you're doing any type of advertising, like Facebook ads work amazingly well if you're using little videos. Like, I'll show you some statistics in a little bit on some things that I've done with Facebook video ads, getting things as low as 0.04 of a cent per video view, right? Ridiculous. So help us, Obi-Wan Content Obi. You're our only hope. All right. Great ways to organize your content. Here are some other tools that work really well. Really funny names like Weigh In and Topic Curious and hashtag, I don't even know what that is. Hashtags, yeah. Twubs. I don't even know what Twubs is, but you can organize content with it. These are all just funny names. Because what's happened is all the real names and words are gone, so now we have to make up new ones, like Nerf. Yep, good stuff, good stuff. But these are all worth demoing, seeing out which ones you like best, right? I don't think there's one be-all, end-all curation tool. Well, there is one that I like. Here's some other these are curation tools that are really great. Buffer is a great way to share content. You find it and then you can share it on different platforms. Love Buffer. Let's see here. Content Gems, pretty solid. Inbound.org. If you're not using inbound.org as a digital marketer, you should. And basically what it is, it's a curated list of people who are submitting their own content and great content that they found around digital marketing. So inbound.org, check it out. Growthhackers.com, check that out. Those are two sites that I have popped up every time I open my Chrome browser. Those two pop up. Why? Because it's some of the best content on digital marketing in the land, right? And that's one of the things I think has been the key to my success is that I'm always reading and learning and researching and I'm curious because this space changes so much. And if you don't stay on top of it, you are going to lose to somebody who is on top of it, right? So, I mean, I commend you all because you are here. You're here to learn. And that's great. But it's a daily deal. You got to keep learning daily. And that's one thing I tell my kids. I have 2 kids. And I'm like, you have to keep learning. In school, in a lot of ways, especially in America, beats out the love of learning out of people. So a lot of times they get out of school and they're like, all right, I'm done learning. Like, no, dude, it has just started. you've just been indoctrinated for all these years, but it's really important to keep learning. So those are great. Again, Scribble Live is another great curation tool. My favorite, all-time favorite curation tool is called Nuzzle. I use this every day, multiple times a day. It's a desktop and a mobile app, right? Nuzzle, N-U-Z-Z-E-L. And if you look at some of the ravings of people here that are pretty, Mark Cuban, Tim O'Reilly, Ryan Holmes of Hootsuite, Matt Cutts, Jay Edelson, they all love it. Why? Because what it does is it takes your Twitter feed and it finds the pieces of content that are shared throughout that more frequently than others, right? But not only that, you can see multiple people's. Like I can go to Matt Cutts' Nuzzle and say, oh, well, what has Matt Cutts' friends shared most in the past 24 hours or the past 8 hours or the past week, right? So it's really amazing way to mine Twitter to find the best content. So one thing that I've done a lot of is I've built a lot of lists on Twitter. So I've curated a lot of people. I use tools to do that. And then I could say, all right, well, who are the most, 1,000 influential mommy bloggers in the world, okay? Well, maybe I have a client that's relevant for mommy bloggers. Well, then I could say, oh, well, what content are they sharing in that right now that's going to be relevant to them? So it really helps you if you are working with different clients and different things. Nuzzle is awesome. It always services the best content. And so here are the top 250 marketing professionals in the world. Well, what are they sharing today? What have they shared this week? What's the most influential stuff that's coming through the pipeline? Because I want to read and learn what the brightest minds in the industry are reading and learning. That way I can become one of the top, right? And I think that over my 18, 19 years of doing this, I think that's the more good stuff goes in, the more good stuff comes out, and the more you know, and the better solutions you're able to come up with. It's amazing. So Nuzzle, it's free. I love it. Another one, BuzzSumo. BuzzSumo will actually find the best pieces of content online and will show you how many shares that they've had. So you can type in a keyword like content marketing, and it will actually pop up and it'll say, over the last year, these were the pieces of content that were shared most around content marketing, or the last 24 hours, or the last week, or the last 3 months, or et cetera, right? Or you can say, what's the most shared pieces of content on Inc.com? Oh, well, here's the most shared pieces of content on this website. And then what's great about it is you can actually, there's a thing over this that says view sharers. So you can actually view, I'll talk about it a little bit later, but you can actually view who has shared that content. So you can find influencers of this content, right? So then you can actually export all of those people and maybe even build a Twitter ad campaign targeting only people who've shared relevant content similar to yours, which is awesome. Okay, content scheduling and distribution. There's a lot of different tools along this line. I love Socito. Socito is a really great outreach tool on Twitter. It allows you to find amazing people based on keywords that they tweet, keywords in their bio, and geolocation, right? So maybe I want to find VPs of marketing in San Francisco who are tweeting about social media, digital marketing, and analytics. Oh, and it pops up 300 people. Well, then you can start following and reaching out to those people. Socito's awesome. Buffer again. This is a cool one. So if you use BuzzSumo and you can export all this great pieces of content, well, then you could import it into something like bulk Buffer. You can put like 50 articles in there all at once, and it will share out pieces of content for you every day. So that's pretty cool. Start a fire. Start a fire is being able to sort of piggyback on other people's content, okay? So say you find a really great article on Forbes and you think, oh, this is good. Well, you put it through your Start a Fire, and what it will do is it'll actually put a little widget in the lower right-hand corner of that content, so you can put a call to action to some of your content, okay? That works really well. Now here's some things that we've done at CCP pertaining to content amplification that we think works really well. So Facebook, I think, is probably one of the best places to do advertising if you know what you're doing, B2B or B2C. And people go, Travis, B2B on Facebook? I'm like, yeah, everybody has one, right? And with the targeting that you can do on the back end, it's phenomenal. So say, for example, one of my clients, they were wanting to target Walmart. So what I did was I put some Google alerts up, and I was listening for a few words, and I found the CEO of Walmart talking about omni-channel marketing, online, offline data, and I was like, here it is. So I gave this article to the CEO and the content team, placed the article on Marketing Land, then put the article on their website, right? Why? Because on their website, you can put a pixel on that website, and anybody who visits that content, you can put them in a custom audience on Facebook. And you can retarget to them on Google Display Network, right? So if you have pixels on your website and tracking, then you're actually able to market to people better, right? So created an ad targeting only Walmart employees, all right? But not just regular Walmart employees, not greeters at the door. We targeted people at Bentonville home office, marketing executives, e-commerce executives, right? So we targeted about 4,100 people, but overall, some of those 41 Walmart employees, 4,100, shared it. So we extended the audience. And so overall, we ended up reaching 7,100 Walmart executives and employees, and we got 1,108 clicks, which was crazy, right? So now, with that 1,108 clicks, we've created a custom audience on Facebook. So now we can advertise to them on Facebook, but also we can advertise to them on the Google Display Network through retargeting. And retargeting is something that's really, really important. If you're spending money on advertising, you want to be able to advertise to them in multiple places. So what ended up happening with this deal was that we spent about $500 total reaching and marketing to these people all over the web, closed a $730,000 deal, 500 bucks. Crazy, right? So this is sort of an inception type of thing where if you're in B2B, you know exactly which companies you're going after, and you can figure out exactly which titles you're going after, then you should be able to market to them precisely, right? Wherever they are. So Facebook is fun for that. You can use LinkedIn. I like using LinkedIn. It's just way more expensive, right? Same thing. So there's another tool called Sniply. And Sniply will actually put a little tweet-looking overlay at the bottom of whatever piece of content that you're sharing. So again, somebody else's content, but you can put you can put that Sniply at the bottom of it with a little call to action. Starbucks should power their personalization with Insight, and click here, right? And so same thing happened. Did the same advertising deal, targeted about 2,300, 2,500 people, got 556 clicks of Starbucks employees that work at the headquarters of Starbucks, right? So very, very highly targeted people. And they're close to closing a $250,000 deal, spent about $180 worth of advertising, right? So it's just money, 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 money. And that looks really impressive, except when you notice it's the same dollar every time. You can see the number on it. All right, good stuff. So Facebook's awesome. Now, you can do some really great stuff with it, especially when you can get into interests. That's pretty amazing. You can do a lot of the same things on LinkedIn, but again, it's 10 times more expensive. Now, speaking of LinkedIn, got another little story for you. So last year, had a friend of mine reach out to me. He'd just gotten laid off from his job, and he's like, man, he goes, I'm trying to figure out my next move. Can you help me out? And his name's Carlos Gill. He's all over the place now. He's an awesome dude. But and so I said, hey, I got this idea. We should create a Facebook page for you and call it Hire Carlos, right? And so we set up a Facebook page for him, Hire Carlos, right? Digital strategist for hire. And I said, and what we'll do is we'll target only HR professionals at jobs you want to work at. He's like, oh man, this is great. Let's test it out. So we went to a couple job sites. We found companies that were hiring social media people. I scraped all the company names, built a Facebook campaign, put it all together, and created an ad, right? And the ad ended up getting, let's see, yeah, it ended up getting, well, we ended up getting like 30,000 impressions, but we targeted 1,000 people. He got 53 clicks over to his LinkedIn page, but what was crazy is he got 32 interviews, 32 face-to-face and phone call interviews as a result of this. So that's where the story gets interesting. So he ends up getting an interview at Clorox for the head of social media at Clorox from this in San Francisco. At the same time where I'm in San Francisco interviewing for the head of social media for sales at LinkedIn. So he goes, oh, you're in town too? Let's meet up for a drink. So I said, all right, let's meet up. So we meet up for a drink. And after I had my interview and he had his interview, and he didn't know that I was interviewing at LinkedIn because I was going to help him get a job, but not the one I wanted, right? Because I'm friendly, but I'm not ridiculous. But and so we go and have a drink. And then when he leaves, he gets in an Uber, which is like a taxi thing. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Uber. gets in an Uber pool, which multiple people can get in an Uber pool. He gets in an Uber pool with a LinkedIn recruiter. So one, I get him an interview at Clorox, puts him in San Francisco. Two, I say, hey, let's go drink here. We drink here. He leaves and gets in an Uber with a LinkedIn recruiter. And then, well, so the third thing is that he created like a video about it. And then he got the job at LinkedIn. He got a job at LinkedIn because they said, wow, that Hire Carlos page on Facebook was amazing. And I was like, oh. So then I had to see him like, oh, it's my first day at LinkedIn. Here's my LinkedIn Live. And anyway, it was pretty funny. So we met up with Vegas last week, and we told the whole story on a Snapchat thing. But so we posted this video, and I did an ad on this thing, right? Targeting only HR professionals. And we got 22,955 views at clicks and shares and whatnot for $10. It was 0.000459 per engagement on that video, which is crazy. And you can literally see how it got broken down by people who are on iOS or on their desktop or on Android. Videos are amazing on Facebook. You can get, especially if you're targeting well, right? I love it. Works really good. Okay, we're winding down here. Got a couple more slides. Promotion and influencer outreach. This is very important. You want to engage influencers and you want to engage your employees at your company. And here are a ton of different ways that you can promote content around the web, right? SEO, talked about that. Social sharing, word of mouth, email, Facebook, hashtags, Pinterest, et cetera, micro-targeting, ads, Facebook posts, promoted tweets, LinkedIn, paid, YouTube paid, right? There's a lot of different ways you can do that. Which one's right for you? Got to test it. Got to figure out what's relevant for your audience. Where is your audience at, right? Who is your audience, right? Once you know that stuff, you can target them really well, and there's all kinds of ways to do it, and that's not even the whole list. That's just some. Influencer outreach, that's one thing that I like, and I talked about it, about being able to view the sharers of your content, right? So this piece of content right here, the secret weapon that will make you and your business stand out in the war of ideas. Click that. All right, Entrepreneur Magazine, that's where that post was originally from. And here are some other people who shared it, and there's 1,000 people or whatever. You can download the list of people, right? So here's the list of people. You can take that list and then put it into a Twitter campaign. Advertise to them. Love that. How can you find influencers? Well, there's a lot of different ways to find influencers. I like using BuzzSumo. I also like using a tool called Get Little Bird. Little Bird is a phenomenal tool, and I'll talk about that here in a minute. So there's a lot of ways you can, find different influencers. Little Bird is one, right? So basically, you can type in any keyword into Little Bird, and Little Bird will go out and find all the relevant people for that particular term, like content marketing. Who are the most influential people within content marketing? And it will go through and it finds all the people, and it says, all right, of the 1,000 people, how many of those 1,000 follow each other? And then they rank that. So it's not just an arbitrary sort of, influence score. It's, okay, of these 1,000 influential people, 459 of them follow this guy. So this guy might be one of the most influential ones, right? Very cool. You can do that for any location. You can say, who's the most influential people in Canada? And it'll tell you on any topic, right? Pretty handy stuff. Love that tool. Triber. Triber's another way to sort of build influence and find influence. Recently got acquired, but still around. Good stuff, good community. BuzzStream. BuzzStream is a way to import URLs of websites that you'd maybe like to write for or have guest posts on, and it will come back and tell you their email addresses and help you build relationships with them. It's a pretty inexpensive tool as well. GroupHigh does the same thing, but that's about $5,000 a month. BuzzStream's way less expensive. Outreach. Outreach is an awesome tool. It's like having marketing automation for your email, your sales and email efforts, right? So maybe you want to reach out to some people. You can literally say, step one, I want to send them this message. If they don't respond, then in 2 days, it's going to send them this message. And then if they don't respond, it's going to give me a cue to give them a phone call. And then after I give them a phone call, they don't respond. So you can basically create like a marketing automation campaign for your sales efforts, and it's amazing. Nimble. Nimble is a really good CRM. It's a social CRM. So you can plug in your LinkedIn account, your Facebook account, your Twitter account, Pinterest, Instagram, all this stuff, and it connects all your profiles. So if you have somebody's email and you have one of their channels, then it goes out and finds the other ones for you, pieces them all together. Then you can actually see from one dashboard all of your prospects' social activity in one place, right? Oh, here's their tweets, here's their Facebook posts, here's this, here's that. Oh, so then if you want to reach out to them and talk to them, you can go, oh, I saw you just went golfing, and how awesome was that, right? Nimble, phenomenal, love that tool. Maybe you want to find somebody's email address. Voila Norbert is a tool that allows you to do that. Also, emailhunter.co is another tool that allows you to find emails pretty easily. Good stuff. Conspire. Conspire is the tool that actually uses your network to your advantage to try to figure out the best angle to reach out to somebody. So maybe I want to reach out to Bill Gates, and who in my network do I know that could introduce me in the best way, right? Employee advocacy programs are very important. If you're not engaging your employees, then you're losing in a lot of ways, okay? Highly recommend that you find some platform that you like, right? I've used Gagalamp, I've used Influitive, I've used Dynamic Signal, I've used Simply Measured, some of these other ones. You really want to make sure you're engaging your employees, okay? Because people trust your employees way more than they trust you, way more than they trust your brand, right? So true. All right, Lead IQ, that's another way. You can basically go on LinkedIn, open up Lead IQ, and it will find their email address for you most of the time. And it exports it into a Google Doc. Again, nimble. Competitive analysis, if you're trying to figure out what your competition is doing, right? For advertising, Google AdWords, their content marketing, their email marketing, their display marketing, all that stuff, Track Maven actually will allow you to figure that out. The only thing it does not give you is competitive analysis on social advertising. Why? Because you're so micro-targeted on social advertising, they're not able to scrape that data. So if I'm looking for CEOs of companies that live in this, they don't know. They're not going to be able to see that. So that's the only thing that Track Maven cannot do. Nobody can actually do that. Clear is a great social analytics tool, right? It manages all your platforms. Pretty good stuff. Love that. Nerdy Data is a cool tool. So you can type in any keyword or any snippet of code and find everybody who's using that. Same thing with Built With. Maybe you're in sales and you're trying to reach out to certain companies and you say, you know what? We work really well with companies that use Marketo. You can go, oh, companies that use Marketo. Boom. Here's every company that uses Marketo. And that's Built With is a ninja tool if you know how to use it, especially in sales. And again, there's over 2,000 marketing tools out there. Tons of them. I could talk about them. I've demoed over 1,000 of these things in the last 3 years. I see technologies all day because I'm always trying to figure out which ones work. So again, there's all the tools. CCP Global/Engage. Here's some more tools. Here's some more. Jot those down real quick. Jot them down. Got them? All right. So again, hopefully you found some value in some of those tools and some of the thoughts around that. Watch out at the end. Oh, it fell off. Gotta watch out for that E. It's vicious. So what I want to give you guys as an offer, since they were so, this organization was so gracious to have me come up here, and so I want to offer some of my time to you guys as well. So if you have some additional questions, maybe we didn't chat after this or whatever, here's my calendar, calendly./TW. You can schedule 15 minutes. If you have any questions or whatnot, I'd love to have a chat with you. So, and then feel free to connect on LinkedIn as well. All right, and with that, there we go.
All right. Holy smokes. Man, he just pins you back in that presentation, eh? My goodness, you'd make a great stalker. Hey, that is
right.
Fantastic.
And I'm not a morning person, so imagine me in the afternoon.
That's right, just creeping around at night, checking everyone's website, who they're linked to. My goodness gracious. Again, big hand for Travis. Wow, that was a staggering amount of information.
Any questions? Want to do Q&A?
And that's what we're going to do right now. Who has a
Perfect.
question for Travis? Okay, back of the room there.
Hopefully I woke you up.
Hi.
Hello.
You mentioned that videos are awesome to have on Facebook. Is
Yeah.
there a program or an app that you recommend to take the video or anything specifically?
There are, I would say, there are some professional tools out there. There are some screen share tools like Camtasia by TechSmith, which I'll use to do screen captures. Animoto is a tool, A-N-I-M-O-T-O, allows you to do automated videos. But really, I think your best bet is to either use a platform like Upwork or try to find your own video editor, right? Somebody who's got talent. This gentleman over here who built those amazing videos there, I mean, I would give him your business card. He did some good stuff. But really, you want to have, and anything over 30 seconds, if you're using it for an ad, people are going to go, right? 15 seconds is ideal. So, and think about this. A lot of times the sound isn't up on those videos. So when you're building these videos, you want to be able to convey your message maybe without a way of even using words, or using words sparingly to share your message, because they might not have the volume turned up, but you still want your message to come through. That's why a lot of TV commercials make no sense to me, because they don't have their logo on them. Like, I'm fast forwarding through my DVR. If you at least had your logo on it, I would know what commercial you are, but nobody does that still. It's crazy.
Anything else for Travis? Oh, yeah, a whole bunch over here.
That was amazing.
Oh, thank you.
So I'm using an Infusionsoft, right? So when we're creating a new product or a service, we have a landing page created for that specific product or service.
Yep.
And then we tag, we segment the list with the tags. So is there a way to globalize your landing page to offer different information to different avatars? I mean, I got really excited when you were talking about that, because we have people, like with my clients, that are coming in from different areas. So is there like a plug-in? I mean, especially like with the new Rainmaker platform, it's WordPress, a WordPress CRM-based platform. So what would you suggest for that?
Well, one thing that I've always found is the best practice when building these ads out and building landing pages is, great question by the way, is that you want the ad copy, the image of your ad to match specifically with that landing page, because you want continuity. So if I'm clicking on this ad right here, there was something emotionally that psychologically to trigger me to click that. And then if I go to a landing page that doesn't look anything like it, then all of a sudden my wires are crossed. I'm like, but if I'm using the same image, if I'm using the same headline, some of the same, then it draws me into it, right? So I think in situations like that, I don't know that there's one size fits all that says, dynamically just create one, it's going to change it. You got to create multiple ones based on each one of those personas, each one of those locations, and make sure that the image matches your landing page image, your headline matches your headline image on your landing page, right? The content similar, right? The similar look and feel, similar colors. That's one of those things that's sort of a best practice when you're doing A/B testing on ads versus landing pages, is that continuity leads to conversion. So but I don't think there's any one size fits all that says, I can magical plug in, and no, it doesn't work like that, unfortunately. But maybe there's a startup idea.
Hi.
Hi.
You had talked about data layers on the website and how that allows you to sort of target specifically to different audiences, whether that's geographically or what. What I don't understand is that specifically how you build out your website to have data layers, or do you use tools like you had referenced Monetate and Maximize to do that?
Right. So now some of that's enterprise level. Some of those tools can be a little costly. So like a Telium or an Insighten or Signal is one of those enterprise level tag management platforms that have other plugins that help you build that data layer. Now, Monetate and Maximizer will allow you to switch that content out based on the visitor coming to your site. But the data layer is another thing that's created on top of your tag management platform, right? So I would recommend, reaching out to Telium or Insighten or Signal about that if that's a specific use case that you want.
And mine is along the same lines on data layers. Specifically, I guess it would be geographically based. Is it IP based or more cookie based? So when you're actually looking at who's visiting your site and trying to segment, and
it can be all types of different segments.
can you give a couple examples?
I normally have a slide
Have
that
some
I talk.
data points?
It can be browser type, it can be time of day. It can be, you know, all different. Maybe people who've only viewed black pants on your website. I mean, you can segment people down. You can drill it down in a only people who are using iPhone 5s, right? Only people who are using so you can really segment in a lot of different ways and find it and target to them specifically. Whenever that type of visitor comes to your site, boom, you can showcase them certain things. Yeah.
Any other questions for Travis? Going once, going twice. All right, another big hand for Travis.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Whoa, there's a step there.
That's quite deceiving, I know, and you don't even see it. It's an illusion. All right. That's a conference in itself, I think, just Travis alone. My goodness gracious, that is a staggering amount of knowledge there that's being shared, and wow, what a tremendous presentation. So thank you again so much, and I expect they'll be checking your calendar and booking some 15 minutes of time with you, I'm sure.
Engage and the Anishinaabe Eski Development Fund would like to thank the sponsors of Engage 2016. TB Newswatch, TD Bank, T-Baytel, MNP, Shout Media.